How's it hanging, everybody? My name is Steve, this is Horns Held High, and today I'm reviewing the new album Reluctant Hero by Thrashy groove metal supergroup Killer Be Killed. Reluctant Hero was released on November 20th, 2020 on Nuclear Blast. Killer Be Killed is a supergroup featuring former Dillinger Escape Plan vocalist Greg Pachado on vocals and guitar, former Sepultura and current Soulfly vocalist and rhythm guitarist Max Cavalera also on vocals and guitar, Mastodon bassist and vocalist Troy Sanders on vocals and bass, and Converge drummer Ben Kohler on drums. Killer Be Killed last toured in 2015 when they released their self-titled debut album. In the meantime, they've been playing with other bands and other projects. This is the first album in 6 years from Killer Be Killed, so I'm happy to see them back. I really enjoyed the first album. I was kind of hoping that they would come around someday, but with these supergroup projects, you're never quite sure whether a band's going to come back or not, so it was good to see that Killer Be Killed is still coming around with new music. This album starts strong with the two singles that have been playing on mainstream hard rock and metal radio for some time now, Deconstructing Self-Destruction and Dream Gone Bad. I've been hearing these songs a lot over the past couple weeks. I like them. They're good. Between the two, my personal favorite is Dream Gone Bad. Something that I liked pretty much throughout all of A Reluctant Hero was that just about every song is ready to be a single on its own. The only song to me that doesn't qualify for that is Animus, and I'll get more into that song later. But otherwise, I would not be shocked if I heard any of these songs as a single on, say, Octane or Liquid Metal or some sort of hard rock and metal station like that. Unfortunately, something that I didn't like throughout this album was a lack of riffs. There were no memorable riffs, and I don't know if you can tell by the shirt I'm wearing, but I'm a riff guy. And when there's no memorable riffs to speak of, it's harder for me to remember these songs. I mean, I can remember some of them by the vocals, and by, I guess, just kind of how hard the songs went in general, but there were definitely no memorable riffs to speak of, which was a disappointment. What I'm about to say next isn't necessarily a negative criticism of the album, it's more of just a personal preference. The album ends with the song Reluctant Hero, which is kind of ballady compared to the rest of the album, but I think it would have made much more sense to put that song in the middle of the album, considering From a Crowded Wound almost provides a similar breath from the pace of the album, but parts of From a Crowded Wound are still fast enough to kind of keep that pace going. I think Reluctant Hero would have been great as a song to go right after From a Crowded Wound, just to kind of keep that a bit slower pace going, again, just to allow for more of a breath from the fast-paced, high energy of the songs before and the songs that come after that. The theme of the album appears to be about conflicts both internal and external. You have songs like Deconstructing Self-Destruction or From a Crowded Wound that talk about more internal conflicts, and then external conflicts are dealt with in songs like Left of Center or The Great Purge. But there's plenty of examples of both on this album. I think all the songs on this album blend pretty well together, almost to a fault. Again, like I said earlier in this review, I could see the majority of these songs being singles on any hard rock or metal radio station. But again, they almost blend together too well, and especially with a lack of notable riffs, like I mentioned earlier, it's kind of hard when, you're casually listening to pick apart one song from the other. I can tell the songs apart vocally, but it's a little more difficult for me to pick out what song is which if I'm just paying attention to the instruments in the background. But that's not to say the instruments in the background aren't heavy as shit. This album, I feel, has a pretty similar format to Killer Be Killed's self-titled debut album, which was the album that came out before this one. The only difference is that, to me, their first album had more memorable intros and just more memorable riffs to remember the songs by. And look, I know I keep bringing up the lack of riffs on that album, but that doesn't necessarily make it bad. In a way, it's made up for by the lyrical content of this album, plus the band just sounds balls to the walls heavy, so that definitely makes up for the lack of riffs. I feel like it'd be a cop-out to pick any of the singles as my favorite song, so my favorite song on this album that has yet to be released as a single as of the recording of this video is Filthy Vagabond, because it dives right into the intensity of the song headfirst with Pachado screaming over the thrash-style backing instruments. It just really immediately kicks it into high gear, which I really like. Plus, I love the verses in this song of talking about life on the road, being in a band, all those kinds of things. And the simple but effective chorus on the necessity to keep moving forward is pretty awesome too. Onward and upward. Now my least favorite song on this album definitely has to be Animus. I don't mind the time length, it's only about a minute long, but it felt kind of forced vocally that all three singers had to be featured on this song. I feel like this whole song should have just been sung by Greg Puciato because there were definitely some Dillinger Escape Plan vibes in this one. When all is said and done, I give Reluctant Hero by Killer Be Killed 7.5 horns out of 10. What did you think about Reluctant Hero? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments. And let me know what you want to see me review next here on Horns Held High. And as always, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And always keep your horns held high. And I'll see you in the next one.